Hi, welcome to my channel, Moving to Madison, Wisconsin. I'm your host, Mindy Kesnick, and today we're taking a look at a smaller town just outside of Madison called Cottage Grove. It's important to understand these smaller cities and villages outside of Madison proper because it's a really big reason that people flock to this area. The suburbs just outside of Madison, Wisconsin have some of the best schools in our state. Most of them are just literally minutes outside of Madison. So there's like almost zero commute if you have a job or you're going to school, inside of Madison, Wisconsin. The commute can still be very short, but you're going to see better school district ratings outside of Madison in these smaller suburbs. So let's dive into Cottage Grove, Wisconsin a little bit. Cottage Grove is made up of just over 7,000 people. And up until very recently, and some would probably even still argue that Cottage Grove has been known as a bedroom community. We have not had a lot of commerce in this area for a very long time. And I say we because this happens to be the community that I have been raising my family in for the last 12 years of my life. When I moved my family into Cottage Grove, Wisconsin, a lot of people looked at me with a side eye and said, "Where?" Because it was not really on the map. It's been just in the last maybe 5 years that we have seen a huge boom in not only residential building, tons of new construction in Cottage Grove, but also we have gotten a huge surplus of businesses, including so many restaurants. We finally have not one, but two really good coffee shops, one of which is a Dunkin' Donuts with a drive-thru. That was very exciting. We also have the first hotel. That was really big news to Cottage Grove. That really put us on the map. And then also a lot of businesses were having some new construction in the commercial arena as well. And so it is a community that is massively growing. We are finally on the map and recognized as a really desirable place to live in this area. And something that's super interesting to know is that, like I said, Cottage Grove is around, 7,500 people, call it. The school district, however, is almost 19,000 people. And the reason for that is just outside of Cottage Grove lives the city of Monona, which is a very, very popular, very desirable place to live because Monona is situated right in the middle of Madison. Literally, Madison surrounds all of Monona, but Monona is this little community it's got lots of lakefront properties, and it's part of the Cottage Grove community schools, which really makes it the very best location in all of the area with some of the best schools that you can get. That is the reason that in Cottage Grove, you will find that the school district is called Monona Grove because it is literally a combination of the city of Monona and the village and towns of Cottage Grove. Now, the downside of that is it means that our schools are really spread out. So you'll see on a map that Monona and Cottage Grove, they are neighboring, but not exactly. And so the high schoolers get bused from Cottage Grove all the way into Monona, and the kids in Monona get bused all the way into Cottage Grove when they hit middle school and they attend Glacial Drumlin School. The schools are great. They get an A- on niche.com for their schools. However, they're a little bit inconvenient if you need to commute and drive your kids to and from school. Now, let's talk a little bit about living in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. Most people that live in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin are homeowners. I think the stats are around 78%. I think that will be changing over the next several years because we are building currently a fair amount of apartment buildings in the village of Cottage Grove. Something to consider is if you're looking to move to this area and you're specifically looking for, say, a suburb on the east side of Madison that has amazing schools and you land on Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. What does that look like from a housing standpoint and a financial standpoint? The median income in Monona is around $82,000. The median income in Cottage Grove is $118,000. Part of the reason that you need a little bit more money to purchase in Cottage Grove is because the majority of the inventory that we see right now, because inventory has been low forever, is new construction. And so a lot of the families that are moving into Cottage Grove right now are choosing to build brand new homes, which are starting at $600,000 and above. The downside to Monona is it's an older community and people just don't move out of it. There's a lot of really great smaller single family, maybe ranch style homes in Monona, and people are able to stay there for a really long time. So we just don't see as much turnover, and a lot of times if we do see turnover in Monona, people are willing to pay $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 over asking because of its location and its good schools. It's just really like the perfect mix, a place to live in our area. Another reason that families tend to flock to this community and this school district is because of the teacher to student ratio. The national average is 17-1. In Cottage Grove, it's 13-1. We also have a ton of resources. So the schools do have really great resources. There are so many amazing teachers, and the kids get a really great education. Now, I will say Cottage Grove gets a C+ for diversity. We don't have as much diversity in this community as maybe some of the other communities in the greater Madison area. We also only score a B in administration, and I would say just because this is my hometown and I know it very well, that I'm guessing that has to do with the politics. There are a fair amount of politics in this school district, which, just like any politics, you can choose to completely stay out of them. However, if there are some really hot topic issues that you are very passionate about, that's something that's worth looking into if you are considering Cottage Grove as a place to move into. Let's touch on a few of the pros and cons outside of the school district. So I would say a pro would be that we are less of a bedroom community than we were even, like I said, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, if I were going to meet up with a bunch of friends and family to go grab dinner to celebrate a birthday or just to catch up, we would likely be heading outside of Cottage Grove and even outside of Monona. We'd probably be heading up to like Sun Prairie or downtown Madison. Now we have lots of options that keep us right here in the community, which obviously is really good for a good, strong, growing community. Another pro of living in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin is the proximity to the interstate. It's super easy to get from Cottage Grove to any of the major interstates that take you north, south, east, and west. So if you need to frequently hop over to Milwaukee, you are right there to get onto the interstate heading to Milwaukee. Also, if you are heading north or south, if you need to zip down to Chicago frequently to catch flights, or you maybe decide to purchase a second home up in beautiful northern Wisconsin, it's super easy to hop on the interstate to go north and south and east and west. So I would say location, especially if traveling on the interstate is important to you, is a huge pro for Cottage Grove. One other pro that I would say that I'm gonna probably talk about on every single one of these small town videos is that it's got a great community feel. It's very common to pop into the grocery store or run some errands and bump into a friend or another parent from school or somebody in the community. Very friendly, lots of really kind people that are willing and ready to reach out a hand and help you out. This community, just like I said, pretty much any of the suburbs, any of the communities in Madison, Wisconsin are all really, really strong community pride communities that just really love being neighborly. So a couple cons that I would say of Cottage Grove. We get a lot of complaints that we don't have like a community pool. However, I will say we recently built a huge rugby center, like this huge rugby clubhouse. I didn't even know that A, rugby was a thing, or B, that we needed rugby clubhouses, but here we are in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin with this huge facility. And surrounding this amazing clubhouse is a splash pad and a beautiful park and soccer fields. And most recently they added a huge skate park, which again was like, oh, I didn't know we needed that, but here we are. As much as we have all of those things, a community pool would be really amazing for, a lot of the communities around here have them and we just don't. So that is one con that we hear. Another con is that we don't have a community library. That is a huge buzzword in our community. They're always talking about how we don't have a library. However, the community is listening. The board is constantly turning over and bringing in new, fresh faces, and a lot of those new board members are helping the community to get what they want, which is a library. It's a con because we don't have it now, but hopefully in the near future we will have one. Because this is my hometown and where, like I said, we have raised our family, it's a little bit more near and dear to my heart than some of the other small towns that I'm going to talk about. So I want to end with one of my favorite things about Cottage Grove, Wisconsin, and this comes from being a business person, is we have one of the best chambers of commerce in all of the Madison area. Cottage Grove hosts a plethora of community events, and it is largely supported by its Chamber of Commerce, which really brings the community together and offers a lot of fundraising opportunities and different ways. There's just a ton of people that are involved, which really help to make sure that we are pouring into the community and offering all of these community events. There are way too many to mention, but if you are looking for a community that will be easy to settle in, really grow some roots, meet amazing people, and become very easily a part of a bigger community, Cottage Grove is a great place to live. If you are somebody who just wants to go about your business and not partake in a bunch of community events and be bombarded with, different participations and all these things, it may not be the right place for you. I would say it's a really great place for families and probably business professionals alike. However, I do have to say our downtown is definitely lacking. If that's something that's important to you, having a really amazing downtown where you can just park and walk and shop and grab some drinks and, experience small town downtown, we've got something to be desired. If a thriving downtown is important to you and the community that you land in, stick around because I will be sharing with you some other communities in the greater Madison area that have some amazingly beautiful downtown scenes. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're looking to make a move to this area, please reach out. I'd love to help.